You're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at TheSlowRidePod. Enjoy the ride.
Hello and welcome to the 93rd episode of the Slow Ride Podcast. This is Tim Hayes coming at you from Pensacola, Florida.
Hey, this is Matt, little guy in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And, of course, this is Spencer Howe in Boston, Massachusetts. Tim, what are you doing in Pensacola?
Well, guys, I am on the ground, and I am doing everything I can to... I'm doing everything that I can to...
Are you making a run for the border? Are you leaving Florida right now?
No, but there's a...
You should be.
There's a bum outside my window of my car. Hold on a second. No, I have nothing. So anyways, guys.
Don't lie to him,
lovely
Tim.
Pensacola,
Man.
Florida.
Right
It
there.
sounds
Now-
like a great place.
We got
Well, I'm outside of Stephen Hyde's favorite hangout in town.
Mhm.
And it's the vegan punk bar in downtown called Sluggo's, where he is a popular figure. Heard lots of stories.
Okay.
Really I'm in town to get the feeling of Stephen Hyde, because Crosshairs Radio did a really good interview a really great interview with Stephen Hyde. And, I just wanted to learn more about this guy, learn more about the future of American cyclocross, the top
Right.
placed American at the World Championships. There, I said it.
is the vibe at Sluggo's kind of like the vibe in Gainesville, like a lot of crusty punks wintering down there, seasonal.
Yeah,
Snowbird
yes,
punks.
definitely a lot of seasonal punks down here, just kind of hanging out. Lots of dogs I feel bad for that are
A lot of blue
locked up
heelers.
outside. Yep.
Locked up outside. Cool. That's cool. What do you like? Have you got anything to eat there? Stephen Hyde's recommendation.
I had some barbecue seitan or seitan. What do you call it?
Ah,
What do you vegans call it?
your research is going pretty deep there, Tim. I'm impressed.
I know. Like
That's deep.
I even had some carrot sticks.
Whoa,
The only
vegetable. Holy shit!
The only problem
you really are
I
deep
see
undercover.
with this, yeah, the only problem I'm seeing with this is that you mentioned you were in your car and you didn't hop a train to get there. But other than that, nailing
And
it.
I didn't give the bum 25 cents that just knocked on my window in the middle of recording.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
doesn't that
see,
man know? Didn't you have your red light on?
proper etiquette would be to not give him any money, but to give him a cigarette instead.
All right. Good point.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we can talk all we want about Stephen Hyde. Maybe I'll sprinkle in some knowledge I have since learned.
Some
But,
tidbits. I like it.
People come here for not only professional cycling knowledge and expertise, but also for expertise in normal cycling situations. And the first thing we want to say is that people asked us to critique the women's professional cycling kits, because we did give lots of airtime to the men's, and we are going to be doing that on the next episode of the podcast. There's a great website that has the entire listing and a survey, prowomenscycling.com.
Yep.
And so we will be getting to that when
we're gonna.
So we're very excited.
I'm just gonna say we're gonna get deep into that, because right now Silence Pro Cycling is leading that survey, and that is like pretty much the worst kit out there. So that's all we'll give you for now. But look for that next week.
There are some pretty cool kits out there, so we're pretty excited. So we will be doing that. And Spencer, speaking of kits, though, there is one situation. I don't want to say friends, because we don't know who they are, and they do go to the University of Michigan, have hit us up on email at theslowridepodcast@gmail.com. They wanted to give us a shout out, so give a shout out to, I think it's the Twitter handle is at U of Michigan State Cycling. Very important university there. Much better than that University of Michigan team.
Spartans.
Yeah. So, Spencer, what was the question from Michigan State cycling?
Well, yeah, we got an interesting one, and it's something that I'm sure we're all near and dear to our hearts here with kit design. So the Michigan cycling team, they have a dilemma where they're trying to design their 2017 kit, and they said their kit, doesn't stray too much away from the classic yellow and blue Block M Michigan look.
We're talking about Michigan, not Michigan State. I get it mixed up all the time. My fault.
Yeah.
I'll just have to fix that in post for you so you don't sound like a fool.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they say, while we respect the tradition and simplicity of this look, we tire of buying what is essentially the same kit year after year. So knowing that we are true kit design aficionados, they're looking for suggestions of what they could do to, stand out in the collegiate crowd, I guess.
So this has already been done before. The University of Florida. Yeah, because the University of Florida has their classic blue and orange, and usually it's an F for the Gators.
Yeah.
Or, like the Florida Gators or whatever. So they went the route, and this is when friend of the podcast, Ryan Fisher, was involved with the team, and Rick Bunning and Lavenhagen, that they went all out and did a mixture of kits. They've done Argyle. They have done Paisley with little gator heads. And they switched it up every year that it was so unique to the point that every year someone wanted to buy the kit that it became the unique kit in the peloton, rather than being the same kit every year. So they just went all out and switched it up. So University of Michigan cycling, what I would say, don't copy University of Florida because they're a far superior team. And also they did such a great job of supporting their local bike shop that it should be noted that if you're going to do the University of Michigan, what you should do is just do horizontal stripes of blue and yellow all the way from the bottom of the shorts to the top.
No.
It will look great. Be a little bit like a bumblebee.
Horizontal?
Horizontal. It's slimming. It's fantastic.
Okay. It's not very slimming.
Okay.
Hey, for University of Michigan, it is.
Here's what I'm thinking, Tim, and maybe you guys remember. You guys remember the fish. Oh my God, I can't say it. The fish jersey from the Volta a few years ago.
Oh yeah, the Sprinters lead jersey.
Yeah, it was like a yellowish jersey with little fish or whatever on it. They can do kind of a feeling of the fish where they have a yellow jersey and then a whole bunch of little M's floating all over it. Lots of little small M's like little fish all over the jersey, and then you can just do the dark shorts with the nice M on the side. Nice and classy, nice and simple, nice and fishy. Okay.
What about instead of fishes, Wolverines?
See, that was
their mascot?
That was the only direction I could go in my brain was like Wolverines. And then I was like, oh, you could just license Wolverine from Marvel or DC or whatever he is.
Yeah, that should be cheap, right?
Yeah, and it should be fine.
Well, but that would be borderline primal wear jersey, though. Like if you had like a Wolverine with like slashing, or it could be like. What about that? It could be the Wolverine slashing the M's, so like it's actually like skin toned in little pieces where the jersey's been ripped.
Yeah. Isn't that like what they're? I feel like that's a look that some other sport.
Well, see, that brings up an interesting thing, Tim. Is like the primal jerseys we're referring to, of the mechanical armored frog and like these classic stupid jerseys that they had that were like. Various jungle animals in really ridiculous scenes that were supposed to be tough and cool.
And they were.
They kind of died out in the mid 2000s when, I don't know, people figured it out that there were other jerseys they could buy. Is it time for a comeback? Is it been long enough that you can throw back to that era, like tongue in cheek?
Unfortunately, I bet it is.
I may be a little bit biased here, and you may think that my bias would say, no, it is not time for a comeback, but it may be time for a comeback.
I would think you're saying that because you probably have like a Frogman primal jersey in your like at the bottom of the pile, and you've been worried about bringing it out, and you're just trying to find a way to justify to bring it back.
This idea has legs, Spencer. So
It does.
Actually,
it's got 2 legs.
Here's what I put out there. You guys can second this idea and then table this discussion. I say that the 3 of us provide on Twitter a few Primal Wear jersey designs that the University of Michigan can then adopt for their team. Just throw a couple of little logos on there. It's not like any of those college kids are going to spend money anyway. I mean,
I'm thinking right
spend
now.
Their parents' money.
Off the bat, I'm thinking tuxedo look jersey. That's bursting open. No. That's bursting open with a Wolverine, an actual animal of the Wolverine coming out, not the Marvel character.
So a Wolverine bursting through a tuxedo.
Bursting
the Wolverine
through,
was
out
wearing
of your
the
chest.
tuxedo?
No.
Wait,
bursting out.
Was it a bunch of Wolverines stacked on top of each other?
It could be several Wolverines. Yes, that could be good. Several Wolverines bursting out through the tuxedo shirt, along with a lot of confetti and like rainbows and things. That is my suggestion.
So, wait,
and
you want
probably
the
an
jersey
M on there
to
somewhere.
look like at a football game when they put up that big paper wall and then the team bursts through it? You want the jersey to basically be the wall mid-burst.
Yes, except, instead of football players, it'll be Wolverines popping through.
Yeah, no, obviously.
And the tuxedo will be navy, and the tuxedo shirt will be yellow. It'll be perfect. It's going to be great.
Fantastic. I think
that's going to be busy. I don't know how you're going to pull that off. I like it.
Well, see, I'm going to tone it down. It'll just have black shorts, so it'll be fine.
Oh, so well, there you go. Then, see, is that the rule we're going to stand by? That like the jersey could have 100 million things happening on it, but as long as it has black shorts, like the whole design is cohesive and
it's
pretty traditional.
You know the problem with this jersey, Spencer, which is the problem with this jersey is: do you buy it? Do you make it in club cut or do you just in race cut? Because I feel that like University of Michigan Cycling at Cycling Twitter, I'm assuming they could
at M Cycling
on Twitter. They could make a lot of money if they make that jersey that you just described in club cut.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's got MS 150 written all.
Do you
over
think
it.
I think they only probably make them in club cut. I mean, this is a university cycling team. I don't think it's like all Cat 1s here. I'm pretty sure it's all levels. They're probably just making the one cut.
Little of this, little of that. That's up to them.
Wrong, Michigan. I don't know.
I don't need to solve those problems for them. But
no, we
there
do.
You go.
We need to get. They wanted us to not only help with the design, they wanted us to literally get the order placed. So we've got to bang this out tonight. Are we doing arm warmers? Are we doing?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, are we doing the fleece ones? Because we got to get 5, and Steve doesn't want them.
Steve.
All right.
So he's got the same ones he's had for 3 years, and he won't get rid of them, and he never orders the new set.
They're always falling down on his little arms.
I will say this, that university cycling teams have to be the worst sponsorship opportunity for any bike shop in the world. So maybe Cycling or M Cycling can prove me wrong. But man, dealing with a bunch of college kids that have no money, where daddy's credit card is like, hey, buy a Orbea online for, dirt cheap. It's kind of, there's not much else you can really do.
Did they tell us what their shop is? I'm sure there's probably some pretty cool shops they're in Ann Arbor.
There's a ton of cool shops in Michigan.
I'm sure there's some great shops in Ann Arbor. That's not the point. It's just that I don't know how important it is to have the sponsors on this jersey.
There's going to be too many Wolverines and confetti for there to be any sponsors.
From their last jersey, it doesn't look like they really had any sponsors on their jersey. It just has an M on it.
Yeah,
which
I
fine. Like. I gotta say, I like it. Being that my name's Matt, it's just like a big Matt jersey. It just says Matt. I mean, it's just Matt.
I gotta say, even the classic Michigan kit that they sent us here is much classier than the University of Minnesota kit, which I'm used to seeing. We are in that North Central Collegiate Division up there where you don't see any other teams aside from the University of Minnesota because nobody's going to travel all the way up there.
Yeah, nobody's.
So it's kind of sad. You get 13 U of M kids racing each other.
Well, I think Wisconsin's in a different conference.
Are they really?
In a different conference.
Okay, because I've never seen them.
This is Eric Saunders. You're listening to the Slow Life Podcast.
Okay, so guys, we can talk about collegiate cycling, but that only affects like 10 to 15 people. We need to talk about USA cycling, and as I still do not have a team for this year, I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to think of joining a team. And this actually goes hand in hand with a question that we got on Twitter, direct message to us from Matt Watts. By the way, one of the coolest last names for cyclists possible. And Spencer, what was the question?
So Matt sent us a question. He's also kind of in the same boat that you are, Tim, it sounds like, where he is starting to consider his team options, and it looks like he's actually starting to consider starting his own team. And he's wondering, yeah. So he's wondering if we had any advice, that we could give him starting a new team, and mentoring any processes that we could help him along. What sort of pitfalls is he going to run into that he might not know about? And says he's all set to be a giver in the future, but he's going to continue to be a taker for this year. So
I want to preface this that I do know Matt. Matt's a great guy, and that is an important thing to know when starting a team. So
that's true.
They're a great person.
So I want to let you know that he is an individual that is responsible and can actually pull this off. So I was thinking about lots of like ridiculous suggestions, like, shop the team around to a bunch of different shops to see who would give you the most ridiculous discount possible for the least amount of work, right? Like things like that. And then, he's not that. He's very responsible. Like he's going to have a plan and follow through with it. So he's not going to take advantage of shops. So we actually have to give some good advice. And the first advice I would say is give everybody on your team zero influence on what happens. Meaning that it is your team, Matt Watts. You decide everything about that team from the kit design to how races are paid for. Like if you get the money, you get to decide what happens. Too many cooks in the kitchen totally ruin USA cycling team.
See,
you're going to start out with just saying dictatorship.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's the problem where we ran into early on with Little Guy Racing, the team we started in Minnesota, was that we were a direct democracy where everybody had a vote. The entire team had to unanimously vote everything in, and boy, that worked really well for a little while, and then it just went straight to hell. And it was a mess sorting that out. So, yeah.
But this is coming. So Spencer, I don't know what your excuse is. You're in Massachusetts, but this is coming from Tim in Florida. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I kind of understand, but I'm just gonna disagree with both of you. Though I didn't give a shit to show up to any of those freaking meetings or anyway.
Yeah.
Well, wait. So Little Guy, like you're saying, if you would have showed up, you should have had a voice in the team that was named after you.
That's what I'm saying. I showed up to a couple of those meetings early on, but we had too many meetings. We had more meetings than rides, I think, for a while there.
Yeah, that's next piece of advice. Have a consistent ride. Have a ride that then you can take ownership. Like, hey, every Wednesday night we're doing a ride at 6 p.m. from our shop, and just stick to it. And then eventually people will.
It happens. Yeah, it happens regardless. If it's raining, if it's not raining, if there's one person there, if there's 10 people there, it's always going to be consistent and it's always going to happen. That will help build that team camaraderie that you need.
Yeah, rides, not meetings. That's my platform.
Yeah,
for your new team.
I don't think you need a dictatorship, but you definitely need, 3 people or so that are kind of the governing body of the team that are going to kind of make sure things happen. Sort of like everybody else be takers.
Like oligarchy, sort of a Russian thing.
Sure.
Okay. With extra cocaine.
Yeah.
That's a good plan. That's what we can. Yeah.
Now the biggest thing that I can give any team, and this is a brand new team or an existing team, the biggest thing that I learned running that team and being the kit designer and everything that I did was, for the love of God, do yourself a favor and sign your sponsors up for 2-year contracts. Like out of the gate. Yeah. Right out of the gate, 2-year contracts, because then you won't have to deal with them, disappearing the next year and having to change the kit. And that ties in really well with then you design your kit in 2-year blocks. It's going to be the same for 2 seasons, so you can buy, your winter jacket and not figure you're going to have to buy another $200 winter jacket next winter when your previous one still works fine, but it just is no longer the new kit. So do everyone a favor. Everyone's going to love you. They're going to save money. They're going to be happy. You're going to look great for 2 years, and then all your sponsors can change, and you can change the kit, do whatever you want.
Spencer, another great idea. If you get a bar, let's say, or a business that maybe drinks a lot when they commit to the money that they're going to give you for the team, make sure that you actually get the money from them before you plaster everything all over the jersey.
That's a weird concept.
That's a good point. Yeah. Make sure you have that money in your hand.
Yeah. So get the money before, the local bar is your,
But
your
this all said, these are some pitfalls we ran into, but we started that team. We had about 15 or so people on it the first year. We had great looking kits. We ran into a few things, but we did that.
The kits weren't that great.
We did that with it. Well, they got better every year, as
they got
whatever.
Better.
But
the silver. Anyways,
we were able to do that with only $500 coming in sponsorship, actual money.
Yes.
So it's possible to do on a very shoestring budget. So don't let your lack of finding sponsors get you down.
Now, let's talk real quick. I just want to, guys, I know we're up against time crunch because Stephen Hyde may show up at any moment here to Sluggos, and I have to roll out in a little bit. But, that being said, don't let too many people onto your team. Max 10 people. As soon as you cross 10, they could all be great people. You start to lose the focus and the desire of a lot of people on that team. A lot of people are going to start being like, maybe they're not showing up to different meetings, or they're just taking advantage of the sponsorships and they're not holding their end of the bargain. I think that's very important.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I would give it a bigger number than 10, but keep it reasonable. Yeah, for sure. For us, after our direct to Makoshi fell apart, we had a four-person committee that kind of made the decisions.
I like to call it the what is it, the junta?
Yeah,
whatever. But once we got over 25 people, it really did get hard to manage. So you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. That's for sure. But you probably won't have that problem right out of the gate.
So, before we wrap it up, guys, and little guy, you brought this up the other day, and we're going to have a full report of various things going on in the world of cycling continue on. But we were very excited about team training camp that's been happening, especially in the Middle East. Do you care to elaborate, give a taste of the future episode of the Slow Ride podcast?
This whole episode is like a promo for next week's episode.
Yeah.
I just think it's nice since we all kind of decided we didn't think the season really started until Het Volk, which doesn't even happen. It sort of half happens. That they're doing so many nice training camps. It's so nice that the Pro Tour teams have invited some of the like the kids from the younger grades, like the Skydive Abu Dhabi team and stuff, to come hang out a little bit and do some of these training camps with them. It's also nice that they award winners at the training camps. Like everybody gets every
most
night,
improved.
A couple people get a medal. Yeah, like fastest on this day of training.
I like that.
Really
a guy, the most consistent fast guy in the training camp. So Cavendish winning the town line sprints on consecutive days.
That's how they are.
Gets to win training camp. He wins the training camp. Because those Middle East races, the training camps, crowds not so much. It kind of looks like it's just team staff members on the finish line there.
Yeah, they really are glorified training camps. Though, like, there's been some races in France and in Spain with few people on the side of the road, few in Italy. It does seem like so far this year, all the usual suspects are fast. There hasn't been a lot of like weird left field guys, you know. All the regular dudes are fast. Cavendish is fast. Kristoff is fast. Bossenhogen, Cancellara, they're all winning.
The big surprise is that Cavendish is up there in these mixed team training camp town line sprints. That people were unsure if Dimension Data was going to be able to, get him to where he needed to be, and
he's always up there. I'm not surprised that he's up there.
I think that maybe Cavendish will kind of morph into a Robbie McEwen, kind of become like only depending on Tyler Farrar to get him into the fifth wheel.
Yeah,
before our
very
interesting. Before our favorite top knot disappears, and Cavendish holds on to Sagan's wheel to launch himself into the victory. I mean,
Tim,
that's like some deep analysis from you.
Really good analysis, Tim. Where did you come up with this?
I think you're just making it up, or you stole it from Spencer from when you guys talked earlier or something.
Yeah, maybe, man. I feel like maybe you've listened to this very podcast a few episodes ago.
Maybe it was episode 87 or whatever we're at.
Did you guys see the like tweet thing about like Cavendish stopping and he fixed somebody's flat tire yesterday?
I did see that.
Are you serious? No,
it made me feel like he has a heart.
Is this a for real? Like he stopped, or
this
is this
for real?
Like
there's
marketing ploy?
No, there's like pictures. There's like pictures of him fixing a tire, and there's like tweets between his.
The photographer just happened to be there. Like, it was totally rigged and staged.
Tim, I don't know if you know this, but everybody has a camera with them 24 hours a day now.
Little guy's informing Tim about technology. That's what's happening right now for the listeners can keep up.
I don't know. Maybe it was staged. Who the hell knows?
I don't think so. It seemed like a whatever. And even if it was, it's a good thing to remind people that they can do. If they see somebody with a flat tire, you say, "Oh, hey, do you got everything you need?" And if they don't, give them your tube.
Tire fixes.
Man, that gains some points. That's like the ultimate wave, right? Like, if you're willing to stop on the side of the road to like help someone fix a flat, that's way better than waving. That means you actually care.
Better.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah,
he cares. Cavendish cares, and that's the new Dimension Data marketing promo. Cavendish cares.
Cavendish cares. That's a pretty good one.
It.
It's
really good, and they got kind of like little teddy bears, but they're little Mark Cavendishes. They're almost as hairy as teddy bears, and they're little squishy little Mark Cavendishes you can squeeze in your bed. My Cavendish cares.
Can you get the accessory eyeglasses to put on when you want them to look a little more smart?
Casual or racing. You put it on. Otherwise, when you take the eyeglasses out, he tucks Arrow. And when you put the eyeglasses on, he kind of like relaxes, and you're like, he doesn't look like a bike racer. Take those glasses off, boom, Arrow tuck. Do you guys think it's funny? I had never thought of this till now. Cavendish and Farrar are the least bike racer looking bike racers in the peloton. Like they're both fast dudes, but if you see them not in kit, they're the two guys that you're like, that guy has been eating donuts all day. Both of them
Farrar's got the sandals and the cutoff cargo shorts and
and
they're
like
both drug rug with the hood.
They're like, think of other dudes. Think of like Kristoff or like other fast dudes that like are like cut. Like they don't look like they have any fat on them. They're just like ripped. And like Cavendish and Farrar always like look a little doughy, and I feel like that's part of their magic is they like the other racers probably look at him mid race and they're like, Farrar's out of shape. And then suddenly he's there at the end of the race, and they're like, how did he do that? He was eating a donut at the team car. I know it.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, did you see... we agree now that Tyler Farrar is our favorite racer for the road this season, right? Collectively, the three of us are just all Tyler Farrar.
I told you.
Where did you come up with this idea?
No. Like the three of us, like, we're Spencer, we're in complete agreement that this guy is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all about the gummy bear. I know.
I
picked
him to win Worlds.
I know. But like, I'm with
that
you
wasn't
now. That
real though. You were making that wasn't like a real.
That
prediction.
was real, and he made
was
the
not
move.
a real prediction.
Like,
I thought I was going to win.
This is not saying like, ooh, TJ Van Gardneren's our favorite. Like, this is a legit, we have all a man crush on Tyler Farrar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So, that being said, people can listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher, where they can also leave reviews. And we do have 2 new reviews this week, guys. Real quick.
Okay.
ETA says, great banter on cycling, nothing too self-serious. Good for those commutes when you're still a little groggy and need a laugh. Thanks for the 5-star review. But the big one comes from M Cycling. See, these guys are good. Not only do they email us, but they leave us a 5-star review.
Yeah, butter us up.
And they
That's
say,
the way to get to talk about your shit.
5-star review. Fat bike pursuit. You heard it here first. If you've always dreamed of eavesdropping on a bike-related conversation between a manic Cosmo Catalano, Tim, Super Rookie Hayes, and Badger from Breaking Away, Spencer, then talk to your doctor about listening to the Slow Ride podcast. There is, of course, the third host, the little guy. But identifying his vocal doppelganger is a more challenging feat, perhaps best left to be undertaken by the hosts themselves on a future episode. So, little guy, I do not have a vocal doppelganger for you because...
I don't have one for me either. I don't know. That's nice. I'm glad that I'm mysterious.
You are a mysterious man.
Which one was Badger from Breaking Away? Is he the little dude that's always lifting weights, or is he shirtless Quaid? Do you guys remember? I don't remember. Or is he the other guy? I guess there's another guy, too. There's 4 of them.
There's 4 of them. So there's Dave Stoller, right? That's the guy that's the fast one shaving his legs. See, that's got to be Spencer because of the girls. Like that would be Spencer's whole thing is like, ooh, I'm going to learn a new language for the girl.
They didn't make that equation. They're saying he's either shirtless Dennis Quaid, who's acting tough, he's the little guy that's lifting weights,
or he's the weasel guy. I think
the Home Alone guy. He's the Home Alone guy, right?
So you're gonna have to Google this right now, little guy. But I'm pretty sure that's the little. I think that's the little guy. I think that's the Badger.
With the long I like
hair, that gets married at 16.
Yeah.
So we had quite the Twitter activity. Even David Guttenplan, got involved and said,
"Holy crap!"
In response to comments about the wide-angle podiums with podium bikes that have proliferated in Florida, he goes, "Haha, yep. Florida decided we represent our bike and all our sponsors better the more guys on the podium." And he is notorious for having his team bring up podium bikes. I, in fact, blame David Guttenplan for starting half of this podium bike fad. Which he used to be on Time U23 development, and that should have been where he learned against that kind of thing. So we're going to have to talk to Eric Saunders about that.
All right, wait. All right, hold on. A Breaking Away update. Did they really say Breaking Away? Because there's no character named Badger on Breaking Away. There's Dave. There's Mike, which is Dennis Quaid. There's Cyril, which is Daniel Stern. And then there's Moocher, which is the little dude, played by Jackie Earl Haley.
He's got to be Moocher. Maybe that's what he was thinking.
There's like characters that are just Stonecutter. Most of the other characters are just Stonecutters.
Yeah, there you go.
Blonde guy.
Hey, Michael DeRoche hits us up and says, "Oh my God, the Slow Ride podcast, the ability to throw a water bottle at other riders on the Zwift app would be the best thing ever. Subscriber for life." See, there you go. That's the kind of thing people come here for.
Yeah. Has that happened yet? I haven't been on the Zwift yet.
We had a couple people tweet us, little guy, that Andre Greipel has been showing up on Zwift and throwing the hammer down.
What's with all these pros showing up on what? Aren't they supposed to be outside?
He couldn't make it to the mixed team training camp down in Qatar, so
Oh man,
what are you gonna do? You got to get on the Zwift. You're in Germany. The weather probably sucks.
Yeah, that's true. I guess when he's back in Germany, he's probably got to do something. That's true. That's true. I'll give him a pass, I guess.
And I know it's been a slow episode, a short episode of the Slow Ride podcast, but it's the 93rd episode.
One thing, Chris Horner's got a team, baby.
He does.
One more year.
And he probably has lupus. That's why he's on the team.
This story broke on our Twitter a few hours before any of the major cycling media got it. And that was thanks to a reader tip. So we really appreciate that. And that's the kind of, the kind of dedication our listeners have. And that's, more than we could ever ask for. So thanks for that. And you heard it here first, in your face, cycling news or wherever.
Eat it, cycling news.
Eat it. That's right.
Why don't you go caption some photos with the wrong Schlecks? Bet you're doing it right now. Fucking idiots.
And with that, we'd like to thank you for listening to the Slow Ride Podcast, your number one news source for gossip, expertise, and when and where to wave to your fellow cyclists. You can download us on iTunes and Stitcher, leave us a review, email us at theslowridepodcast@gmail.com. You can also tweet us at theslowridepod. And with that, we'd like to thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm. And we'd also like to we'd like to apologize for Tim's microphone quality as he's still in the parking lot outside of some shitty bar in Pensacola, Florida.
Dude, Sluggos, I'm sure this microphone sounds amazing.
Sounds like you're in the parking lot of a place called Sluggos. That's what your microphone sounds like. So, I mean, if that's amazing, yeah?
Alrighty, and with that, we'll
What
see
else
you
were you
next
going to
week.
say? What else were you going to say?
I was gonna thank BK1 of Rhyme Snares Entertainment for his intro and outro music.
Oh, yeah.
That's
should
a
do
good
that.
thing to do.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do.
All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.
All right, go
Sounds
get in
good.
Sluggos and start slugging them back.
The Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at TheSlowRidePod.
Slow Ride Podcast.
Matthew Brachot, think of Saxon.
I'm Lauren Stevens, and I'm here at the World Championships Road Race.
This is Lynn from Podium Insight.
It's Rassam Bahadi. I'm Alex Dowser. Normally I'm racing for Movistar. Here I'm racing for Team GB.
You're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast.